Hey, listen, I honestly think that this could be a summer of smart Canucks moves. Now, I know some people might scoff at that, but hey, listen, it's absolutely possible. It seems like the Canucks are getting out ahead of some of the issues that possibly could be happening in the future, and that includes a possible Quinn Hughes leaving. But we do have a lot more trade rumors around Bowen Byram, the Canucks, and a possible twist to this trade rumor that might mess anything up for the Vancouver Canucks. So now, number one, this is from Adrian Dater. This is just a start that I believe Byram wants to be a Vancouver Canuck. And I've said this from a while. He's a BC guy. Why the hell wouldn't he want to come home? And it's really interesting because in my last Canucks video that I did on Byram, I mentioned that I believe that this is because the Canucks believe that he is going to leave, Quinn Hughes, that is. And that they believe that getting Byram is getting out in front of that. Now, I'm not saying that getting Byram for Quinn Hughes is a wash. Like Quinn Hughes is a better player, but you have to understand that they're going to have to get out of a possible negative happening to their team. So this is from NHL Rumour Report. We have Nick Kiprios. Canucks' interest in Sabres Bowen Byram is in part to protect against a possible Quinn Hughes departure. Now, there was some funny tweets with this, with, people putting duct tape over a giant, crack or whatever. And I understand that. This isn't a perfect move. But the point is that you have to at least replace Quinn Hughes' minutes because he plays a lot of minutes for the Vancouver Canucks. Now, this is a player that scored about 38 points on the Buffalo Sabres. I do wonder what his actual ceiling is. Like, if he gets a lot more power play time, he plays on a better team, what exactly can he do? Can he be a player that scores 50, 55 points? I certainly don't see him being to the offensive ceiling of a Quinn Hughes, but again, I still think that this is a smart move. A lot of people are asking themselves, well, why are the Vancouver Canucks moving for another defenseman? And they have so much depth. Like, the Vancouver Canucks do have a lot of depth on their blue line. Like, that's just obviously true. But this is a smart move, and I like what they're doing here. Now, I can completely understand where people don't want the Vancouver Canucks to panic, and they may be worried about how much assets they might have to give up. Like, I don't know what an overpayment looks like from the Canucks to the Sabres, but that would worry me too if the Canucks panic. With Quinn Hughes, I've been consistent on this. I'm starting to lean to the fact that Quinn Hughes is probably out the door right now. That's what I would have to guess, especially with Rutherford and his comments. I just found it really weird. So this is the one thing that the Maple Leafs didn't do with Mitch Marner. They never had any plan to replace him at all, and now look at them. They're just sitting here being like, well, what the hell do we do? Now, this is actually where it starts to get really interesting because the trade rumors aren't done there. We have more interest. The Flyers are now involved in this as well. The article that we're going to be reading off continues. Byram, 24, was said to be one of the Flyers' main targets in a potential Cutter Gauthier trade, but as we now know, ultimately settled on Anaheim Ducks' package of Jamie Drysdale, a second-round selection in a 2025 NHL draft. According to multiple reports, the Flyers are still interested in Byram as well, as Stars forward J.J. Peterka, who I really like. The only problem for Philadelphia is that the trade cost is said to be quite high, as will be the salaries of the next two players. Now, as I already said, when it comes to J.J. Peterka, this video isn't mainly around him, but I really, really like him. I'd love the Vancouver Canucks to get him as well. I think Peterka is a top-line winger. Maybe I overrate him a little bit, but I just really like him. I like watching him play. He's a really good goal scorer. I think his ceiling is higher than it is, so whatever. What's making this interesting to me is now that the Flyers are jumping in, and potentially the cost could get much higher for Bowen Byram. That is where it worries me a little bit. I don't want this to push too high, where the Vancouver Canucks almost have to give up too much assets. But it is smart for them to get out ahead of issues that are going to be coming in the next couple of years. And think about it. They don't have to rush right now. He's going to be a UFA in 2027. Now, that does, and Quinn Hughes, that is. Now, it doesn't mean that you don't get out ahead of it, though. I still think the Vancouver Canucks should get out ahead of it. Like, it's not necessarily a bad move. But since they have a little bit of time here when it comes to Quinn Hughes, you have to think, okay, we got to make a move, but we have to make a smart forward-thinking move. Like, you can't just sell a lot of young players and draft picks for a player that, I mean, he's a great player. I like Bowen Byram, but I just don't want them to overpay. Now, to be fair, the Vancouver Canucks do have a lot of draft picks in this draft, so perhaps they could be looking to make some moves. I believe they have all of their 7 draft picks, which is pretty rare. So maybe they could afford to give up some assets, but I'm not really sure. And it's interesting, in 26 and 27, so not this year, but the 2 years after that, they're only actually missing 3 draft picks. So they actually are stocked with a lot of draft picks over the next 3 years. It's not like they're completely gutted. I will say, though, I do think that the Buffalo Sabres are a team that can be taken advantage of here. I think that they already made a pretty questionable trade when it comes to Dylan Cousins. I do wonder if it is possible for the Canucks to genuinely just get like a really good deal on a really good blue liner here. Not only that, but one other thing that I'll say is that a lot of organizations, when they're classy, they will actually try to work with a player, even if they can trade Bowen Byram and anywhere they want to send him to. A lot of the times they'll be more classy about it and say, hey, listen, where do you want to go? And, a lot of GMs want to have a good name around the league. Like even Nil in Dallas, he actually sent Marchment to a no-tax state tax place just to help Marchment out. Like, that's how far some GMs go. So maybe he will be willing to send him to Vancouver because he knows that's where Byram wants to go. Now, maybe he'll just be ruthless and it's just like, hey, who cares? I'm just going to get the most for you. I don't really know, but it's just worth mentioning if you understand what I am saying. Anyways, I am going to leave this video here. If you can make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, I would greatly appreciate that, guys. And make sure to have a great day. Goodbye, guys.